Hey everyone, and welcome to this latest demo of Lyra. We've been working really hard on it, and I'm excited to show you what we have for you today. So what I'm going to do is take you through a normal flow in the life of a sales rep. I'm going to be the sales rep. I'm selling Lyra, and you'll also see my co-founder Henry on this call shortly. And he's going to be a potential prospect or someone that we are selling to. So I'm starting out here in the Lyra dashboard. It has connected to my Google Calendar. Every time a meeting gets booked, or if I manually book it, it's automatically generating a Lyra link the same way Google Meet and Zoom generate links, and then adding that to the calendar. And then when the person is ready to start the call, they'll actually click the link and they'll join, and they will be inside a video call, right? So here we are inside Lyra's video call. We support basically unlimited participants. Everything that you're seeing here is streaming in 4K. It's also recording in 4K, which is way better than most traditional meeting platforms today. I used to do a lot of sales call reviews, and as I was watching the recordings, I was really struggling to actually see what they were doing on screens. So that's the first thing. We also built our own meeting infrastructure to have an agent right at its core. So it's completely from the ground up AI native. And I want to show you one of the first use cases that often shows up in the life of the sales rep. So, Henry, how are you doing? How's today going?
Doing good. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. I always start my calls the same way. I'd love to know, why did you book this call with me?
Well, the biggest reason I booked this call is because one of your partner, Stripe, is actually pretty interesting. So I want to ask more about it from you.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute myself right there. And I want you guys to pay attention to the little number that showed up in the bottom right. So what that basically is doing is, Henry mentioned that Stripe is a customer of ours. I happen to know that Lyra has a customer story talking about Stripe and how they achieve certain results through Lyra's implementation. But let's just pretend that I was a new sales rep and I didn't know that, right? It would be super useful for an AI to pick up, he's asking about Stripe. What do I know about Stripe? Also, the AI has full context on everything that Henry's told me about beforehand, so it can highlight the relevant points inside the actual customer story. Now, there's a lot of tools out there that are basically bringing up things on screen, telling the rep, hey, say this, do that, etc. I've taken a lot of sales calls. I've spoken to a lot of sales reps. I don't think that's the future. I think it's quite distracting. So we want to be as minimalistic as possible. So basically, every time the AI has a recommendation, it shows up there in the bottom right, as my choice to decide if I want to click on it. So let's say I click on it. This is now taking me inside our Lyra canvas, which I'll talk about in a second. But what I want to focus on now is, you can see the AI has suggested this customer story from Stripe, and I can click here to actually read the thought process. So it's basically saying the prospect, in this case, Henry, mentioned the word Stripe, and this case study shows how we've helped similar clients boost some sales velocity, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate around my Lyra here, and I'm going to find the section that I happen to have created before this on proof, right? This is like comparisons between other competitors and sort of proof that Lyra actually works. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to just add this case study to it, right? Now, if I click on this, you can see that the AI has gone through the customer story, figured out what is relevant, because remember, all of the recordings from this conversation live here, and actually highlighted what's relevant and personalized it to Henry in real time while we were on that call. What I'm going to do now is quickly, as a human, have a look. Yes, I'm happy. And now what I'm going to do is press this button. And when I press this, Henry is now going to be able to see this. I can see there is his cursor. So this is our answer to screen sharing. I think the future of sales is going to be collaborative, right? I can't tell you how many times I got on a sales call and I'm screen sharing. I'm going through lots of things, and I can see the person is typing emails, responding in Slack, doing other things. What I've just done by clicking that button is every person on the call, you can see the call is still happening in the top right, including Henry, has been moved into this canvas. It's just like a whiteboard where everyone can collaborate together. And what we do now is bring the entire sales conversation and all the interactions and engagement that happens in sales, and we put it inside this canvas we call a Lyra. So you can see here are the different call recordings, right, from the different calls that we've had. This is a editor. I can put whatever I want. This is integration. We spoke about collateral, competitors. This is a PandaDoc contract that has actually been embedded inside here. So we're not trying to replace your document signing tool or all these other things. What we want to do is bring it into a place where you can collaborate and, share it with stakeholders. The same story is when the person actually moves from a prospect to a customer, then what you want to do is you want to actually go ahead and implement with them, right? You want to actually complete action items. And so this is how we would manage the entire integration process from beginning to end, etc., etc. All right. So
today,
let's have a look at this. This is Lyra. What we're now going to do is we're going to focus on notifications, right? So basically, when you're inside an actual canvas, it's super, super easy for me to actually press share over here and copy a link. Now that I've copied a link, what I can do is share this with someone. Now, the user flow that actually exhibits is, let's say that Henry has a boss and he wants to share it with his boss, right? What typically would happen is he would have to write a long, complicated email talking about all the benefits, etc., etc. And what happens more often than not is people are not incentivized to sell my tool as well as I am. They don't know enough about it. They don't care enough. I can't tell you how many times I looked at the emails that some prospects have written and barely even recognize my own tool, right? Now we've made it easy. He can just copy a link and send it. When his boss receives it, he's going to get this. For security, we're going to say, please confirm your email, right? So let's say we are boss at, Lyra.so. It's going to ask me, who am I, right? So I'm going to say I'm boss. And let's just say that my last name is Michael for some reason. What this is going to do now is it's going to actually give me full access to that Lyra, the same way we were just looking at it inside the editor. So you can see we now have 3 people, our boss, Courtney and Henry. And the boss can navigate around super easily, right? This is how you would go through the evaluation process. You can figure out exactly what he's talking about, etc. But the magic here is on my side as a sales rep. What has happened is I have received a notification, right? And you can see, if I click on that there is a new stakeholder, right? I can now see that someone new has joined the Lyra because it's been shared internally and I have their contact information, and now I can actually go and engage them, right? This is a game changer in sales, because what often happens is I speak to one person and they need to now go and sell within their organization and get different approvals. And I, as a sales rep, am often completely left in the dark. I don't know if he's shared it, who he shared it with, what he said, who's involved, etc., etc. And what we've found from our customers is if you as a sales rep go and speak to the person who actually has the ability to sign deals, you end up signing more deals, right? No brainer. And what Lyra does is it allows you to gain visibility into an organization, and it allows you to actually see what's going on. But we don't stop there. The last little thing that I want to show you in our demo is I want to go back to the boss, and I want to talk about a typical, work stream that costs most companies millions of dollars today. The last thing is, let's say I'm the boss and, I've spent, 15 minutes going in here, right? I have watched all the call recordings. I've read all the case studies. I've seen the business case laid up in front of me. I've had a look at the contract, so I sort of know how much is this going to cost, et cetera, et cetera. I've looked at implementation, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm coming to my final things. And, my last question is, do these guys have SOC 2? What typically happens here is the original champion who I was selling to, I spoke about the features, all these things. He didn't ask me about that, but now the senior, boss needs to ask. The problem is now what happens is the boss will go ask his employee, who then needs to go ask me. Then I will reply back to the employee, and then the employee needs to go back to the boss. So this broken telephone, literally that one question can probably take 4 or 5 days, right, to actually happen. And you can imagine this across multiple questions. And this is why you end up with super, super long sales cycles, which is not good. And also it's just a terrible experience. But what we've done is we fixed it. So let's say I'm the boss and I'm reading through, the security stuff, and this sounds super cool. I just want to know, do you have SOC 2? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here. I'm just going to leave a very quick comment, right? I'm going to simply ask, do you have SOC 2, right? Simple question. What will now happen is our agent is going to say, I've seen this question 1,000 times before, and I know the answer because it has been saved 1,000 times before. And in real time, what the AI is going to do is say, yes, Lyra is SOC 2 compliant, ensuring security. What we've just done is taken a 5-day process and collapsed it down into 5 seconds. And that is Lyra. There's a bunch of extra cool things. Obviously, we have analytics across all of this, so you can sort of see what's working, what's not. Templates to speed up the sales process. We even have sticky notes, so you can literally collaborate on a deal with prospects as you're actually doing it. I didn't want to run through everything in one demo, but we're excited for the future, and hopefully you try Lyra soon.